and welcome to EBTV's 2022 Township Council Candidates Forum. My name is Alan Brodman, and I am your moderator for the evening. Tonight, we televise the forums from East Brunswick Town Council chambers. We will have two forums this evening. The first will be the two candidates running for the remainder of the unexpired term vacated by former Councilman Dr. Michael Spadafino. This will be for a 2-year term. A member of the local press will be asking questions of the candidates running for Township Council. We are pleased to welcome Maureen Burzak, representing East Brunswick Tap Into. Unfortunately, our second reporter had to cancel at the last minute due to illness. Our candidate representing the Republican Party is Joseph Kincaid. Our candidate representing the Democratic Party is Dana Zimbicki. We will begin our program with 2-minute opening statements by each candidate. The order of the opening statements was determined by random drawing earlier this evening. 2-minute closing statements will be given in the reverse order. After opening statements, our reporter will alternate asking questions to both parties. The party's candidates will have 2 minutes to respond to the question. The opposing party's candidate will then also have 2 minutes to respond. Let's begin with our opening statements. The first opening statement is from Joe Kincaid.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Kincaid, and I'm running under the Republican ticket for Town Council for the 2-year term. I recently retired as of last year from federal service, where I have over 30 years, my last 20 as an FBI agent in New York City. I was prohibited from running for partisan politics at that time, but now I want to give back to the community that I've lived in for nearly 20 years. I volunteered here with my daughters in both 4-H, Girl Scouts, and the local PTA. I have experience in the private sector, where I currently work, the military, where my last assignment was company commander of an Army Reserve unit, where I was responsible for 150 reserve soldiers and 4 full-time active duty soldiers, where I oversaw maintenance, budget, and personnel matters. I currently work as a manager for security, and I oversee a team, and I'm responsible for budget and facility maintenance as well. I've served also in my charity group, the International Order of Odd Fellows, that gives back to the community, helps residents in need, and I feel I can bring that to the residents here of East Brunswick. I've served as an adjunct professor as well, and gotten to know the needs of younger people. And I've door knocked during this campaign and received concerns and issues from the citizens here in East Brunswick, where I look to serve since I have that public service spirit in my blood, and I want to continue to bring clear communication and open transparency to the citizens here of East Brunswick. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, Dana Zimbicki.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, EBTV and Dr. Brodman, and welcome, Mr. Kincaid. My name is Dana Zimbicki, and I'm running for Town Council in East Brunswick. I was humbly appointed in February to replace the seat of Dr. Spadafino. It was an honor to be considered for the position, and I'm asking for your vote on November 8th, along with my very esteemed colleagues, Kevin McAvoy, Dana Winston, and Jim Wendell, column B. My family are longtime East Brunswick residents, 4 generations strong. We have been in East Brunswick since 1900. My husband Joe and our sons Dylan and Hunter can often be seen on Sunday mornings selling peaches and apples at our farm stand on Riders Lane, where we've gotten to know so many of the residents. I began my teaching career in 1988 and have taught over 4,000 students during my career. For nearly the past decade, I was elected president of the East Brunswick Education Association, part of the New Jersey Education Association, the strongest labor union in New Jersey. My volunteer work within the state and the community is strong and active. Some examples: I am a member of the New Jersey Department of Education Teacher Leader Advisory Board. I've coached EBBL, Fast Break. I've been part of the PTAs. I've been honored by the East Brunswick Education Foundation as a partner in excellence, participated in their fundraising as one of the dancers in their dance-off, and also have written thousands of dollars of grants for the VFW for their 5K run. One of my proudest is the Bear Den, where we give clothes to students in East Brunswick in need. It's an honor to be running for this position, and I am eager and looking forward to representing the people of this community that I have become so attached with in a variety of ways. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin our questioning. Ms. Burzak?
Thank you, Dr. Brodman. Hello, Joe. Hello, Dana. It's nice to be here with you this evening and to honor both of you for your service to our community.
Thank you.
Both in the fire department and in the schools as labor leaders and law enforcement and the military. You each combined have a total of 60 years of service, and that is worthy of note. And I'd like to begin on that note. So thanks to you for that. As a member of the East Brunswick Township Council, could you address issues that affect the schools and the first responders objectively in the best interest of the community? Have you ever disagreed with the majority of your public service team, respectively? Okay. And what happened? How did that work out? Dana?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I believe it's the Republicans.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Joe,
okay.
my mistake.
Okay. So I have disagreed at times with folks who were with other agencies. I can speak to my law enforcement career as an FBI supervisor. There were times where we had to approach things differently. There were different tactics and strategies that may have been useful in some circumstances, but not in all. So what I needed to do was build those teams and the relationships, build that rapport, have open dialogue and communication to bring everyone together for a common goal. And I think that's what's important, not only there in public law enforcement service, but here as a council person for East Brunswick. And that's what I like to do. I like to reach across the aisle and work with others. I am a member of the East Brunswick Fire Department, right here, District 3, Brookview, where I've currently proudly have served for 2 years. So I like to learn and do, and I'm not afraid to back down from a challenge, and that's why I want to represent and do well, bring the assets I have to the table, and even though there may be disagreements on issues that affect the citizens, I feel it's important to gain the concerns and the voice of the people through either focus groups, town hall meetings, or surveys, get to know their thoughts and feelings, and then come back to my fellow council members and work together to hopefully give a majority where the majority is satisfied. The goal of good government is to do the best work, reach a common goal for the majority of people. And even though there'll be disagreements at times, I think by agreeing to disagree and treating people respectfully and recognizing diversity in our community and the budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So the first part of the question, talking about like a conflict of interest, first of all, the municipality has no involvement in school budgets or decisions any longer. That ended many years ago. So I don't think that's a conflict of interest at all. In fact, I think one of the great things that we can do, and we have done in East Brunswick, is ensuring that we're able to keep property taxes as low as possible by helping the school districts. We have voted on supporting bonds because of our great bond rating. The municipality has an excellent bond rating with Moody's, that we're able to support the schools they take bonds out under us in order to keep property taxes down. I definitely don't think there's a conflict of interest at all in my role as president of the association. I represent the teachers and the support staff that teach and care for the children in the school district. Being president of an association where it's 1,400 members strong and negotiating contracts, it's an art. And that's something that I think I will be able to bring, and I am bringing currently to the council. The art of compromising, the art of looking at the full picture and breaking it down into pieces in order to ensure that all voices are being heard. I think that's so key, that all voices need to be heard. And we have done that. And sitting on this dais in the short amount of time that I've been here since February, there hasn't been full, total agreement. There have been times where we have asked to table certain things because we need more information. So I think that, I have a lot to bring to the table, and I am bringing that right now. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Next question, first response will be from the Democrats.
Thank you. Thank you for your responses. You will be serving for a short term due to the status of this position, right? You're filling an unexpired seat. What is the issue or concern that you would like to focus on most during that time, and why is that issue important to you?
Thank you. So, number one, obviously, is taxes. I think that is a key piece in East Brunswick, and I'm proud to say the municipal tax in East Brunswick has been stable over the past many years. This year, the municipal tax went up $16. The year prior, it went up $10, and the year prior, it went up $10. And we've managed to do that during COVID and also during inflation and a petroleum crisis. So that's something we need to do. We need to think about our senior citizens that are living here. We need to make sure that we are bringing knowledge to them. For example, the Senior Freeze program, we've tried to make sure that they all understand that they need to apply for that, even if they're not qualified for it right now, because they get grandfathered to the year that they actually applied. And then, of course, we have the Anchor program where people are getting rebates this year. So obviously, working on stabilizing taxes is a big piece of it, but also making sure there's balance in our community. We are focusing on redevelopment. As a matter of fact, on October 4th, we're going to have the demolition on Route 18 finally. But redevelopment also comes with redeveloping our green spaces. We have 2 brand new green spaces that we've opened up just this year, Beaver Dam Park and Tammany Campsite and Park. And then focusing on the arts. And the way we thought out of the box for COVID is amazing. We were able to do things that we brought art, gingerbread decorating, we brought drive-in movies to the community, the acoustic Mondays, just different ways for people to come and enjoy everything that East Brunswick has to offer. So I feel that there's a variety of things that have to be focused on, and we have to consider the balance and focusing on all of our citizens in East Brunswick. Thank you.
Joe?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maureen. The development is a huge issue. Right now, the phase 1 is complete. So knowing that it is moving forward, I would like to come in with clear communication and find out what the citizens would like. Also, during the redevelopment, what public infrastructure burden is there? How can that be alleviated and use cost-efficient methods to alleviate that burden on our sewage, our water lines, our electricity? Also, give resources to our first responder community, since they will be responding to complexes that have more people now in a limited space. And how can the beauty of East Brunswick be continued in our redevelopment program? Work with the developers, work with township professionals, our first responder community. How can these be enhanced, especially for the safety of our citizens here moving into the complexes? The quality of businesses is also important. working with the Chamber of Commerce to attract new businesses to the area, I think is very important. And like Ms. Zimbicki said, there has to be a balance. There has to be a budget that is cost efficient, but also serves the needs of our diverse community. Senior citizens, young people, what programs can be available for them, what services can be looked at as necessary, what contracts can we look at to cut costs. And there has to be a mindset of a project manager. What is the scope of the project? What is the budget? What is the timeline to make everything work together? Are traffic studies being done in real time to alleviate the burden on our community here? So I think the balance of serving the citizens, cost-efficient budget, and redevelopment with the focus on a project management style, keeping within our scope and budget, enhancing our natural elements here in town, the beauty of our parks and recreation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we'll go to our third question. Republicans will have the first response.
Thank you. In your responses to questions posted by Tap Into East Brunswick, which are appearing throughout this month, you each indicated that you had extensive experience with team building. If you became part of this team, how would you aim to build consensus if both parties are represented on the council? Joe?
Thank you, Maureen. My experience in building teams, I was the lead agent on a critical infrastructure pilot program for the New York City FBI. So I had to work, it was my program, so I had to work and build it. How did I do that? I went out and I thought, what makes up people's lives? First responders, education, government, religion. So I had to meet different people. And as I did that, I got to know their needs and concerns. I had to mitigate their risk that they saw by working with partner agencies, and also bringing that knowledge back to build an intelligence base for our system so we can protect the citizens of that area. I've also worked in counterterrorism investigations and counterintelligence investigations, where I work with partner agencies to mitigate the risks to the citizens of the country. I work now with the Brookview Fire Department and serve on that, where we have to, since we're a volunteer service, we have to balance our needs and our training with our lives. So by bringing these assets to the town council, I think working with my fellow council people, the skill sets that I bring will be extremely helpful. I can look across party lines. I could look at other agencies, work with our professionals, since I've dealt with people from all backgrounds and walks of life throughout my career. And I think by doing that and getting along with council people and residents respectfully, I think we can accomplish many things. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you very much.
Dana?
Thank you. So team building is important in any aspect of our lives, and certainly as the president of the association and representing such a diverse group of people, 1,400 teachers, support staff that range from technology to custodians to maintenance to our instructional assistants, just to name a few. There are different problems that that I face every single day and have to come up with solutions to those problems. So team building and developing solutions and working with people is something that I do all the time. It's second nature to me. Certainly, I feel that our town council, we are taking advice from the Redevelopment Organization Committee, which is a nonpartisan committee. We're taking that advice for redeveloping Route 18. I do not think that really in town politics, party really matters that much. It's about East Brunswick. It's about our citizens. It's about focusing on what our citizens need. And having people that are invested in our community and that are out there and listening to our citizens in a variety of ways is one of the most important aspects of being able to understand what the people of East Brunswick need. So honestly, I feel that what I'm able to bring to the town council and what I'm bringing, the art of negotiation, the art of compromise, the art of listening is key. And being open-minded. This isn't about party. This is about representing the citizens of our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go to our next question. Democrats will have the first response.
Thank you. You're both used to managing people and hearing a variety of types of input from others. You just said that. The redevelopment of Route 18 is moving forward, as Joe indicated, and it will doubtless affect the nature of what it means to live in suburbia that was created in the 1970s. How will you work with the community to both support development and respond to the concerns of current residents?
Thank you. So yes, the redevelopment is occurring. For over 20 years, we've had a blighted area on Route 18 that was a problem for our community. We weren't getting tax dollars from that. And just an example, on Edgeboro Road with the FedEx building, we went from getting $78,000 in taxes to now $800,000 in taxes by putting redevelopment in that area. So I think part of it is being responsible with where redevelopment occurs. Clearly, Route 18, when you come off of the Turnpike and you come down Route 18, it's a problem. And we, as of October 4th, like I said, we will see demolition starting in that area. The beauty of this is when we work with these developers, they put money back into our community. They are working on storm drainage, road improvements, changing traffic patterns to ensure that the community members are not going to be overburdened with cars in their area. It's increasing our property values. It's also providing workforce housing because these areas need to have what is known as affordable housing, which I believe is workforce housing. It allows teachers and nurses, police officers to be able to move into our community at a reasonable area. And to do nothing would be irresponsible of us, just to let that area, stay the way it is. So another piece of it, as you asked, Maureen, is focusing on what else is needed. And our police department, safety is number one. Our police department is amazing. For 6 years in a row, according to centraljersey.com, our police has been number one in in Middlesex County. They're proactive to what we need. They help us perform these traffic studies. They ensure that our community residents are safe. And again, I'm going to go back to a word that I used at the beginning, is balance, just making sure that we're providing the balance for our citizens in East Brunswick in all areas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kincaid? Yeah.
Thank you. As far as the redevelopment, how can we work with the developers? How can we work with blighted areas? What do we need to do to re-envision ourselves? Let's have town hall meetings. Let's have focus groups. Let's send out surveys. Let's get the input of the community. Ms. Zimbicki brought up a great point about our first responder community. The police department, outstanding. Our volunteer services here with the fire department and EMS is beyond none. Let's get their input as well. Let's work with our engineering department and professionals in parks and recreation here and get everyone's input. Let's have a transparent budget where people input to that as well. Let's have open bidding, clear communication for all residents to know. And let's work to decrease the burden on our public infrastructure, find the best way to alleviate the burden on our commuters, since there will be new traffic patterns. Can there be shuttle services provided? Can there be alternate transportation or alternate routes developed around bottlenecks? These are important things going forward, as well as the safety and security of the new facilities, lighting, sewer, garbage, recycling, all these need to be considered. So taking that all into account, especially with my background working infrastructure, I think it's very important to get the knowledge, to share it with the residents of East Brunswick, and to bring that to your fellow council people to alleviate the burdens, and to work with the developers to create a safe and very aesthetic new way of living for the town residents here in East Brunswick. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now for the last question in our debate structure. I'm sorry, and the Republicans will have the first response on this one.
I just want to turn the right way. Do we need a new high school, and how are we going to pay for it?
It's a great question. With the development comes new families with children. So we have to consider these needs. It's a necessity. Some of these schools were built in a time where we could handle the needs of the citizens. That time is now past. Like Ms. Zimbicki said, although the town council doesn't have oversight onto the Board of Ed matters, we can work as a community to see how to pay for this. Do we use debt funding with our bond rating so very attractive? Do we get grants? All these things we consider. What is a surplus in our budget to work with developers and the Board of Education and find out the needs for our students, especially with a diverse community. What do these populations need, especially for disabled, ethnic, special needs? These need to be considered as well. So we need to work within the administration and legal challenges and support what we have to do for our students. Since they will be the future of this town, we need to structure a school system where they will learn, flourish, and then stay in East Brunswick. And we have to build towards that future with our redevelopment in mind, and also keeping budgetary concerns to a minimum through either debt financing, grants, or using a surplus to work across the board and get things done. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So clearly, one of the reasons, or two of the reasons, I should say, that most people move to East Brunswick is our schools and our safe community. So we need to keep attention to our schools, without a doubt. We did have an increase of students moving into East Brunswick, families moving into East Brunswick during the COVID pandemic. A lot of houses changed over, new families came in with new children in our elementary schools, which is one of the reasons that we had to do our restructuring this year. So whether or not a high school is needed is something that's going to have to be a process. There should be an ad hoc committee that looks at this and looks at the data. One of the things about redevelopment and also just looking, we had statisticians that looked at our community. They do not believe that there will be a huge amount of students coming into the district due to redevelopment, because many of the units are going to be 1 and 2 bedroom units, which really wouldn't be conducive to families. So it's something that we need to look at, right? We need to see, because we need to make sure that we're supporting the school systems to keep East Brunswick the community it is. That's why people have moved here. But we need to be fiscally responsible. Grant money is definitely a way to try to help this out. Over the past 3 years, we have obtained $25 million in grant money for a variety of different projects. So that is something we're going to need to look at. But we're also going to have to focus on how we as a municipality, because again, we don't have a lot of say in what goes on in the schools, how we as a municipality could assist through bonds and whatnot, through our great Moody's rating. So it's a question that has question marks still, but it is also, we need to be responsible for our schools in East Brunswick, despite the fact that the municipality does not have control over the decisions that the Board of Ed makes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will conclude this forum with 2-minute closing statements from each of the candidates. The order will be in reverse from our opening statements, so Ms. Zimbicki, you have the first opening, or closing statement, I should say.
Thank you. All right, so what makes our town great is the diversity of our community. I firmly believe that we need to continue the great work that we have been doing over the years to move East Brunswick in a positive direction. Fiscal responsibility is clearly the key to success in our town and thinking about all of the citizens of our town. Under this administration, we've been able to keep our municipal taxes essentially flat, even during a pandemic and with inflation. I'm running for town council because I believe in East Brunswick. I'm a part of the fiber of this community as an active citizen, not just on paper. I support the administration as we've seen stable taxes, redevelopment, new green spaces, and 100 new businesses moving into our town. Infrastructure has been improved, and we continue to do it right now on Route 18, working with the state. I'm asking for your vote on November 8th. I'm a person who will be able to responsibly help guide this town. My professional career has afforded me to hone in on important skill sets, such as collaboration, compromise, negotiations, social astuteness, the art of delegation, and the ability to look at a glass half full. My family roots are deep in East Brunswick, 4 generations strong, and I want to see our community continue to prosper, and I want a 5th generation of Zimbickis living in East Brunswick. I am by nature a positive person. I'm never looking to diminish the ideas of others, but rather looking for what we can do and learn from one another, building each other up. Leading with kindness and fairness is absolutely the basis of my personal ideology. In closing, I'm asking for your support and your vote on November 8th, along with voting for my colleagues, Kevin McAvoy, Dana Winston, and Jim Wendell. Together, we have over 100 years of experience comprised of community service, government involvement, and hands-on leadership. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kincaid.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to summarize by stating, although I'm a novice to politics, my vast experience has shown that I can handle crisis situations and thinking outside the box. I've worked in the government service, private sector, the nonprofit, military, and the academic sector. I can bring these skill sets to the table right here for the citizens of East Brunswick. I've also have crisis experience and risk management. I've served overseas with the military, and I know what it means to be up late, no sleep for hours at a time to get things done. That's the energy I want to bring to this community. Now that I retired from government service, I want to continue to serve my local government here. I've been here for 20 years, and I continue to volunteer, both in my charity group and in the fire department here. I'd like to continue the vision for East Brunswick through development of our natural spaces, and I like to work with the professionals in this town and the first responder community to keep our citizens safe. And I'm asking for your vote on November 8th, along with my colleagues, David Herrera, Neil Shaw, and Antoinette Evola. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. That's all we have time for this evening. Thank you to the candidates and our reporter for participating on EBTV's Township Council Candidates Forum. This program will run on EBTV until the election and is available on demand. Just go to www.ebtv.org under 2022 election programming. Election day is Tuesday, November 8th. Polls are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can check the Township's website under Township Clerk. Election information For more information on, or call 732-390-6850 for your exact polling location. Also, the state has approved early voting from October 29th to November 6th at the East Brunswick Community Arts Center. The hours are Monday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. If voting with a vote-by-mail ballot, they can be dropped off at the designated drop box, which is located on the court side of the municipal parking lot. As a retired civics teacher, I would be remiss if I did not take an opportunity at this time to ask for you to do what we, the people, are expected to do in our democratic system. We need to participate in order to make sure that our representatives are the ones who can best reflect who we are. The most direct way of doing that at this time is to vote. So please, come out to vote. My name is Alan Broadman. Thank you very much for watching.